Are you tired of feeling misunderstood, reacting to emotions you can't control? There is a clarity that changes everything, a way to stand firm like a mountain in the wind. The final lesson from Socrates is the one they don't want you to learn, because it is the key not to them, but to your own mind. Stay until the very end to understand this freedom. Unseen chains. We live in a world of constant reaction. A word is said, and an emotion flares within us. A desire is unmet, and a sense of lack clouds our entire day. We believe we are the masters of our own ship, but if we look closely, we can see we are a vessel tossed on the waves of circumstance, on the winds of other people's moods, their expectations, their desires. This is especially true in our most intimate connections. We seek harmony, but we often find ourselves in a dance we do not understand, stepping on toes, moving when we should be still, speaking when silence would be the most powerful statement. The title of this exploration is provocative. It suggests a secret that women wish for you to never find, but we must reframe this. It is not about a battle between men and women. This is a childish view. The truth is far more subtle and far more profound. The secret is not about them. It is about you. It is a path to a state of being so grounded, so clear, that the normal games of emotional leverage, of validation seeking, of push and pull, they simply cease to have any effect on you. Imagine you are standing in a field. The wind blows, the rain falls, the sun beats down. These are the external events, the words of others, their happiness, their anger, their disappointment. For most of us, if the rain of their sadness falls, we become soaked in it. If the harsh sun of their anger beats down, we feel burned and retreat. We are completely at the mercy of the weather. We have no shelter. This is because our sense of self, our inner peace, is built on their approval. It is built on the condition that the weather must be pleasant. But the weather is never constant, so our peace is never constant. The unseen chains are not locked onto us by another person. We fasten them ourselves. Every time we need their smile to feel worthy, we add a link. Every time we need their agreement to feel intelligent, we add a link. Every time we allow their emotional storm to become our own internal chaos, we tighten the chain. The key to freedom, then, is not to try and control the weather. That is an impossible and foolish task. The key is to build an inner shelter. The reason this state of being is something another person might, on some subconscious level, pray you never see, is because a man who is not dependent on external validation is a man who cannot be easily controlled. His happiness is not a button they can press. His anger is not a lever they can pull. He is not a puppet. He is present. He is listening. He is compassionate, but he is not porous. He can sit with you in your storm, but he does not let the storm enter him. He can listen to your words of anger without becoming angry himself. He can witness your sadness without being dragged into despair. He possesses a stillness that is both unnerving and deeply attractive to a world that is addicted to chaos. This stillness comes from a deep internal source. It does not come from pretending not to feel or from suppressing emotion. That is merely building a dam that will one day burst. No, this comes from understanding the nature of the mind itself, a journey that the great philosopher Socrates urged us all to take thousands of years ago, a journey inward to know thyself, and in that knowing, to find a freedom that no one can ever take from you. This is the first step, to recognize the chains you have placed upon your own spirit. Inner dialogue. Socrates' famous instruction, know thyself, has been echoed through centuries, yet it is so often misunderstood. We think it means to know our preferences, our strengths, our weaknesses, what we like on our pizza. This is surface-level knowledge. This is cataloging the furniture in the house. True self-knowledge, the kind that leads to unshakable freedom, is about understanding the very nature of the mind that is doing the cataloging. It is to go into the basement of the house, to see the foundations, to understand the plumbing and the electricity. It is to become aware of the constant, unceasing inner dialogue that dictates almost every single one of our feelings and actions. If you sit in silence for just 2 minutes, you will not find silence. You will find a marketplace of voices, a voice of fear, worrying about the future, a voice of ego, replaying a past conversation where you felt slighted, a voice of desire, planning what you will get or consume next, a voice of judgment, critiquing yourself and others. This is the inner chaos. We are so used to it, we think it is who we are. This inner dialogue is the source of the unseen chains. When someone criticizes you, it is not their words that cause the sting. The words are just vibrations in the air. The sting is caused by the voice of your own ego, your own insecurity, rising up and saying, "They are right, I am not good enough," or "How dare they, I must defend myself." You are not reacting to them. You are reacting to a pre-existing pattern within your own mind. The Socratic method was a process of questioning, of peeling back layers of assumption to arrive at a deeper truth. We must apply this method to ourselves. We must begin to question our own reactions. When you feel a surge of anger, the Socratic inquiry is not, "Why did they make me angry?" That is the external childish view. The true inquiry is, what is this feeling of anger? Where does it come from within me? What belief that I hold is being challenged right now? What expectation that I had was just violated? This is the beginning of wisdom. You shift the focus from the external trigger to the internal mechanism. This practice of observation, of non-judgmental listening to your own inner world, is the most powerful training you can undertake. It is more difficult than lifting any weight or running any distance, because the mind is slippery and we are deeply identified with its chatter. At first, it is overwhelming. You see the pettiness, the fear, the endless craving for more, for better, for different, but you must simply watch it, like watching clouds drift across the sky. You are not the clouds, you are the sky. The clouds of thought and emotion pass through you, but they are not you. This separation, this creation of a space between the observer and the observed, is the birthplace of freedom. When you can observe your anger arise without becoming the anger, you have a choice. When you can see the pull of desire without being dragged by it, you have a choice. Most people do not have this choice. They are fused with their thoughts. A thought of sadness arises, and they become sad. A thought of anxiety arises, and they become anxious. They are a leaf in the wind of their own mind. By practicing this inner Socratic dialogue, you are no longer the leaf. You are becoming the mountain. True stillness. To observe the inner dialogue is the first step, but it is not the final destination. Observation brings awareness, but it does not by itself bring peace. The destination is a state of being we can call true stillness. This is not an empty, dead state. It is a state of profound clarity and vitality. The most powerful analogy is that of a glass of muddy water. Your mind, our minds, are typically this glass of water constantly shaken. The mud of thought, emotion, and impulse is swirled throughout, making the water opaque. You cannot see through it. You mistake the mud for the water itself. All of your decisions, all of your perceptions are filtered through this murky confusion. You try to find clarity, but by struggling, by thinking harder, by analyzing more, you are only shaking the glass more vigorously. The mud just gets thicker. The path to clarity, the path to true stillness, is to simply set the glass down, to stop shaking it, to allow everything to settle. This is the purpose of discipline, of practice, of what some call meditation. It is the act of setting the glass down. When you sit, when you focus on your breath, when you bring your awareness to the present moment, you are creating the conditions for the sediment to settle. At first, it is difficult. The habit of shaking is strong, but with consistent practice, slowly the particles begin to drift downwards. The water begins to clear, and for the first time, you can see through it. You can see the thoughts for what they are, just particles, not the water itself. You can see the emotions for what they are, just colors, not the essence of your being. This clarity changes everything. From this place of stillness, you can finally see the world as it is, not as your fears and desires project it to be. You can see other people clearly, their own muddy water, their own struggles, and you can feel a deep sense of compassion rather than reactivity. This stillness is the source of silent strength. When you are in a difficult conversation and the other person is shaking their own glass of water, flinging their muddy emotions at you, you do not need to respond by shaking your own. You can remain still. You can let their words, their anger, their fear pass you by, because you are not identified with your own mud. you are not triggered by theirs. You are a clear vessel. You can listen, truly listen, from a place of stability. You can understand their pain without having to take it on as your own. This is an incredibly powerful position to be in. It is a strength that does not need to be announced. It is felt. People feel your stability. They feel your lack of neediness. They feel that you are a safe harbor, not another chaotic boat on the storm-tossed sea. This is the state of being that changes all relationship dynamics. It is not a trick. It is not a technique to get what you want. It is the profound transformation of becoming who you truly are, beneath the noise, beneath the mud. It is the settled water, the clean mirror, the silent, immovable mountain. Silent strength. When we have cultivated this inner stillness, our interaction with the world transforms. This brings us back to the core of our topic. What does this mean in your relationships, especially with women? It means you cease to participate in the drama. Most relationship dynamics are based on a subtle and sometimes not so subtle economy of validation and emotional reaction. One person feels a lack, so they behave in a way to elicit a response from the other: jealousy, attention, anger, desire, to feel seen, to feel powerful, to fill their own inner void. It is a dance of hungry ghosts, each trying to feed off the other's energy. When you have cultivated your own inner source of stillness and validation, you are no longer hungry. You can come to the table, but you do not need to eat from their plate. You are already full. This completely changes the dance. You are no longer easily baited. A passive-aggressive comment doesn't land. A test of your jealousy doesn't work. An attempt to create drama to get attention is met not with coldness, but with a calm, discerning presence that sees the attempt for what it is: a cry for connection from a place of lack. Imagine a woman is feeling insecure, and out of that feeling, she tries to provoke you. The untrained man, the man with the muddy water, will react in one of two ways. He will either become angry and defensive, thus giving her the emotional reaction she was subconsciously seeking and escalating the drama. Or he will become weak and placating, trying to soothe her by sacrificing his own center, which leads to a loss of respect. The man who possesses silent strength does neither. He sees the behavior. He sees the insecurity behind it. He does not take the bait. He might respond with a calm question. It sounds like you are feeling upset. What is truly bothering you? He addresses the root, not the symptom. He does not participate in the surface level game. He offers a space for authentic communication, but he will not be pulled into the mud. This is the power that is so profound. It is the power to elevate the entire interaction. This is why, in a metaphorical sense, this is the video they pray you never see. Not because women are manipulative schemers, but because the entire system of unconscious relational dynamics relies on both parties being asleep. It relies on both parties being reactive and needy. When one person wakes up, when one person finds their own center, the old game cannot be played. It forces a new level of honesty and maturity from everyone involved. It forces the relationship to either become deeper and more authentic, or to fall away if it was only ever based on drama and codependence. Your silent strength becomes a mirror. It shows others their own chaos. Some will be inspired by it and want to find their own stillness. Others will be frustrated by it and will leave to find someone else to play the old game with. And either outcome is a victory for you, because you are no longer building your life on a foundation of neediness, but on the bedrock of your own unshakable peace. You provide strength not by being louder, but by being quieter. You lead not by force, but by the undeniable gravity of your own centered presence. This journey, from being a slave to unseen chains to becoming a master of your own silent strength, is the ultimate path of the sovereign individual. It is not a secret trick to control others. It is the sacred work of controlling yourself. This is the freedom Socrates spoke of, the peace the sages promised. It is the ability to walk through any storm, not without feeling the wind, but without being broken by it. To love, not from a place of need, but from a place of fullness. This is the only strength that truly matters, and it is available to any man who is brave enough to set the glass down and wait for the water to clear. For years, I thought the problem was my job, my girlfriend, my situation. I was constantly reacting to everything, feeling like a boat without an anchor. This video just turned on a light in a dark room. The idea that the real work is observing my own inner dialogue and that my reactivity is a chain I lock on myself. It's overwhelming but also incredibly freeing. It's not about winning against women, it's about winning the war inside your own head so you can finally show up with real love and strength. Thank you for this clarity. The work begins now.